This week on the agenda, bridging the skills gap. Has technological talent become the world's most vital strategic resource? For decades, countries competed for oil, factories and capital. Now the global economy may be running short of something else: people. Nearly 3/4 of employers worldwide say they cannot find the workers they need. And for the first time, AI skills are now the hardest to find. Countries are now competing for talent the way they once competed for natural resources. Across advanced economies, employers are struggling to find skilled workers, but the pressure is uneven. China has one of the lowest talent shortages among major economies after years of investment in science and engineering, spending around $500 billion on research and development a year, and producing more science and engineering graduates than any other country. Companies are changing how they recruit. Higher pay is no longer enough. Flexible schedules, remote work and retraining are becoming critical tools in the talent race. In the global economy, talent may be the ultimate resource. To discuss that and more, I'm joined now by Denis, Senior Research Fellow in the Quincy Institute's East Asia Programme. Dame Wendy Hall, Regius Professor of Computer Science and Director of the Web Science Institute at the University of Southampton. And Zeng, Yuzhang Chair Professor at the Gaoling School of Artificial Intelligence at Renmin University of China. Fantastic to have you all on the agenda. Denis, let me start with you. Is the AI race really about chips and computing power, or are people now the real bottleneck?
Well, clearly, it's about people. Even President Xi Jinping of China has said that if we want to have innovation, we must be driven by high-end talent. So I think there's a growing recognition around the globe that finding the right kind of talent, retaining that talent, and having that talent grow and develop over time, that's going to be one of the key determinants of long-term competitiveness in the AI domain.
Dame Wendy, nearly 3/4 of employers worldwide say they can't find the people they need, despite record investment in education and technology. So what is driving that disconnect?
Well, I don't know where the record investment is for a start, but I think that talent is something we've got to keep striving for. I mean, just as the computer revolution meant everyone who was in work, almost everyone had to be able to use a computer. Going forward, everybody's going to have to understand AI and be able to use it as part of their job or supporting their job role. So it's really important that we make that sort of the skills available to everybody, and that our respective governments invest in developing that talent. Because it's across the whole of industry, not just the tech firms, clearly.
It's not just the tech firms. Wendy, let me stay with you because you were questioning that record investment. I mean, just China, for example, as part of the 15th five-year plan, it's got this AI Plus program where there's a big focus on it. And yet we have companies all around the world who are saying, but we haven't got the people. So there does seem to be an imbalance, Wendy.
Well, you should go to Yi to ask about the Chinese investment. I don't know about that. I'm envious of it, if that's the case. In the West, it's we've had some investment in talent, but there's a long way to go in terms of getting everybody up to speed. And the people in school now, as they go to university or go out into work, need to be prepared for a world of work that embraces AI.
One of the things that's notable about the Chinese effort is that over the last few years, they've closed down almost 12,000 different academic programs, and they've developed 10,000 new ones as part of a repositioning of higher education in order to prepare the country for the onset of the AI revolution. So China is not just investing money, it's also investing in new curriculum, new ways of organizing their universities, and they're looking to the future to not just have intellectuals be in the cutting edge, but the entire social system is being prepared all the way from K through 6 education to live in a world in which AI has become ubiquitous. This is something that we are not yet even close to in terms of what's going on in the West.
Zheng, this is an opportunity to bring you right in, because AI skills have become the hardest capability to find all around the world. Why do you think that this shortage has emerged so quickly? Is it because we're underestimating how profoundly AI is going to reshape labour markets in the global economy?
Well, I think at the beginning of the exploration of AI, so actually the professors who defined AI does not really expect that it is changing the world, that way and that profoundly. So what I'm thinking is the AI is still evolving. And the way that we understand about AI education is also evolving. So one of the example is that when you go back to like 10 years ago, and then you look into this computer science program or the AI program, well, 10 years ago, there will be no AI program. But even for now, most of the AI program, they don't include like ethics and safety and governance of AI for sure. But this is changing for these like 2 years, at least in China. All the Department of Artificial Intelligence, when they give education at the bachelor level as a bachelor for AI, now ethics and safety and governance of AI is a must in the bachelor level, and also in the PhD level and the master level. Now it's a must. And also in China, even still in my university, Renmin University, we not only have Bachelor of AI program, but now we also have Bachelor of AI governance. So I think this is really changing. I don't think that the current so-called talents really understand the future of AI. Actually, we're evolving this program, I mean, for AI programs in universities, in a very proactive way to explore what do we mean by AI. So I would say the professors like me and Wendy, we are evolving ourselves for the future together with the students.
Denis, let me bring you back in. I'm wondering if you think that top AI talent is going to follow the best ideas wherever they might be coming from, or are they going to follow the biggest resource, i.e. the paycheck? Or will it be the biggest opportunities?
I think everyone is looking for opportunity. About 2 weeks ago at the Summer Davos in Dalian, they released a report about high-end talent mobility. And there are now 10 cities that have been identified as global hub cities for the development of the latest technologies, including AI technology. And these will be hubs of mobility. We will see lots of people moving between these cities because that's where the cooperation is going to be and the collaboration. And those are going to become the centerpiece of global development of AI in the future. And I think several of these cities are in China, and then the rest are some of the obvious places around the world, such as in Silicon Valley, London, and some other places. So I think that this is a really interesting finding from this report, that we're seeing a focus in on where talent is. It's not the broad global mobility that we saw maybe 10, 15 years ago, but it's now a focused mobility that we're about to see.
I mean, Zheng, when we think about advances in artificial intelligence, we do think about Silicon Valley first, and then other names come up, of course, European cities like London, China, absolutely. But in the global race for AI talent, who has the edge? Is it the US? Is it China? Is it Europe?
For the future of AI, I would say, like when Wendy said that non-technical people, swooping themselves into AI, they could be talents, talents of AI from philosophy, from laws. I see those of, trying are all different branches of talents in the AI field. So by that, I would say the US is still leading, innovative foundational algorithms in technical AI. China is also doing on this, but many of the original source are also from Europe, although some of these industrial level applications may be from the United States or China, but it doesn't mean all the tech talents are all in the US. Actually, recently, many of the industry innovations in China are actually invented within the Chinese education system. We found that many of the leaders in DeepSeek, in Alibaba's Qwen model, or in Jipu, they're all trained in China. They never leave China. So this is very new within these 5 years.
Denis, would you agree with that? I mean, do you think that there's an issue with Europe training AI talent that then moves overseas, perhaps something you're also seeing in other parts of the world?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can see that certain cities and certain places have become hubs or magnets for attracting people. And we've even started to see some migration out of the United States of Chinese Americans originally born in China, held positions in the U.S., whether they're in university or companies, and now they see the new vast opportunities that have emerged in China, and they're moving in that direction. You know, the Chinese have a very interesting situation. They have a undergraduate population that every year graduates about 12 million students. That's over basically close to 50 million students in undergraduate. And yet there's a talent shortage in China. So we've got to be very careful, not just to look at the quantity, but we've got to look at the quality of what's being produced. And this is not necessarily just adding an increment of one more AI course or one more course of algorithms or something. It is really a repositioning of higher education. What does the graduate of the 21st century look like overall? So that whether they're at the cutting edge end of being a PhD level graduate, or they're just simply an undergraduate student, all of these people are going to have some similar kind of fundamental underpinning in order to be prepared to live in this world that's going to be remarkably different than it was 10, 15 years ago. And I'm not sure universities are keeping pace with that.
Wendy, Zheng was talking about how China is adapting some of its educational programs, but we are also already seeing places like Canada, like Singapore and the UAE redesign visa systems to attract the highly skilled workers, so taking it that step beyond to allow people to come in. Is the global competition for talent really underway?
I think that you're, again, mixing up two different types of talent. Maybe there's... You've got the high-end tech talent, right? And that may well apply. That's the people that get the millions of dollars worth of salary who could build these systems. There's also a lot of, I mean, as Yi and I keep saying, there's going to be people who are not the tech talent, who are going to be the lawyers, the business people, as you said, the philosophers, the psychologists, the assurance. I mean, in the UK, we're putting a lot of money into AI assurance, which is the development of a whole set of new careers and new talents that will know how to think about AI safety, or the things she's talking about, governance, the ethics, and how we make sure that the systems that are being built by the top tech talent are safe for us to use. So you can't keep conflating this all into one type of talent.
I'm not conflating it into one kind of talent, but but I think we are. No, we're not. We're having the same conversation because we're talking about countries scrambling to have the best people to take us into the next revolution, be it physical AI or what have you. What you're saying is that it's not just those people, the engineers and so forth, who are going to need to be AI savvy and literate. And you're saying that all of those people are going to, the global economy is going to transform at every single level. Plus, you're saying there are going to be new kinds of jobs that are also being established. But to get all of these wheels in motion, to join up the dots of this ecosystem, you need to have the best people in place to be able to get it working.
Yeah, but you're jumping ahead of the gun a bit because we aren't ready yet. We don't know what AI assurance is. We're learning how to work that through, what type of careers they're going to be. They're going to be careers we can't even talk about. They're going to be jobs we can't even name, just as there have been with the computer revolution. So we can't be teaching those courses yet. And this is going to evolve. The tech talent is needed now. But as more and more industry sectors adopt AI, then the careers and the disciplines that are needed to support those sectors, whatever they are. We haven't talked about health yet. I mean, that's one of the biggest sectors that's going to need people who understand how AI is helping the health industry, hospitals. Same with education even. So all these things are still emerging and evolving, and that's what we've got to prepare our institutions for and the people that are going through the institutions. But it is an evolution at the moment. We're not ready with that. With how to teach that type of cohort in massive numbers yet.
So you're saying we're not ready, but we need to start somewhere. So what devices can governments put in place?
Say, we've started in Southampton with our MA in AI for non-technical people, right? And these are the courses. I'm sure that Yi's AI and governance course will be taught to. I don't know what your criteria will be for admission to that course, Yi, but it won't be a computer science degree. I wouldn't have thought necessarily.
Oh.
So you're building from the inside out. Go on, Yi.
Thank you. Can I add that shall we also think about moving our eyes a little bit and not only to this top tech giants, tech talents, but also to leaving no one behind. So I think when Wendy were talking about her course on for non-professionals is about the accessibility of the AI power to the general public. And when Denis is also talking about, there are a huge number of bachelor degrees producing every year in China. Actually, it's not about producing tech talents. It's really about leaving no one behind at the bachelor level in China. So, China has a big number of people. So when there are many bachelor students graduating from computer science and AI, actually, we're raising the literacy of AI through the general public. So I think we need to not only to focus on producing very high and top tech talents, but also to bring this power to everyone. Yeah, I think that's also very important.
So staying with, go on then, Denis.
I just want to be careful here that we don't understate the degree of the dramatic change that is taking place. Some people, when they looked at AI initially, they thought what we were going to see was a layering of AI on top of existing jobs, and that was going to lead to certain productivity improvements, etc. But what we've come to realize now is that the AI revolution is really about total job redesign. That basically what we're going to need is we're going to need people, as my colleagues have said, to be prepared for this entirely new world in which jobs are going to be restructured, repositioned, and reorganized. And I think that this is something that we should not take too lightly. Recently I was in Wuhan in China, and they had this very interesting situation where they introduced robo-taxis. Baidu, the Chinese company, brought in robo-taxis. And as you may know, in China, there's a service called Didi, which is a taxi calling directly through your iPhone or through your cell phone. And then there are all the regular taxi drivers. And the regular taxi drivers were looking at these robo-taxis and saying, wait, what's left for us in terms of the market if the robo-taxis are taking over and there's a piece only left for the Didi taxis? What's going to happen to the traditional taxi cab driver who basically was the foundation of local transportation in the city for the last 25, 30 years? So, we've got this displacement factor that's going to occur. And in the Chinese government, they did something remarkable. they moved the center of gravity from the Ministry of Science and Technology, National Development and Reform Commission, in Chinese what's called Fagaiwei. And now the Fagaiwei is in charge of looking at the socioeconomic consequences of AI in terms of its broader impacts. And I think that this is something that's suggestive of the fact that change is happening much more quickly than we anticipated, and it's going to be much more drastic than we had hoped for. It's moving along, and I'll be very honest, 5 years, I think universities now are falling behind. They're not catching up as fast as they need to what's going on in industry and how industry is driving the cutting edge of this technology.
Although Southampton is putting wheels in motion, right, Wendy?
It's not only Southampton, yeah. And whilst I think I disagree with Denis. I think that there's been a lot of scaremongering by the tech companies that this is all going to happen overnight, and everyone. I mean, look at Elon Musk saying nobody needs to work, nobody's going to have a job. That's not the way it's going to be. I think about the computer revolution, which completely changed accountancy. My father was an accountant. He ran a company where everybody had to do all the mental arithmetic by do it all. They had no computers or calculators. Everything was done by hand, manually, ledger copying, everything. All those jobs have gone. But the fact that the computers and calculators can free us up from doing the drudge of long mental arithmetic, long division and all that, means that we've been more creative about finance, and there are more jobs in the finance industry than there were ever in the industry in the 80s when my father ran an accounting office. So, and I think that there's a lot of scaremongering, a lot of hype from the companies about how fast things are happening. And when I go and talk, I mean, I'm not talking about China. I'm talking about, because I'm not there as much as I am here. And when I go and talk to companies here, it's very exploratory what they're doing with AI at the moment. And that will grow, and it will change, and it will change jobs. I do agree with Denis there. The whole situation over time is going to change, but I don't think it's going to be that fast.
Zeng, what do you think? Is it still quite exploratory?
I'm not trying to be a scaremonger. I'm just trying to deal with the reality of what's happening. If you look inside companies, every day the watchword is AI transformation. That's
I know, but then they have to turn it around because it doesn't work, because they try and change an existing workflow and replace it with AI.
China is changing its workflow. Science, technology, advanced manufacturing, all at the heart of the 15th five-year plan, the next phase of economic planning. Can China's scale and planning and application scenarios become a major advantage in attracting, in particular, AI talent?
The applications of AI now at this point is very emphasized in the Chinese new five-year plan, but there will be other tryings. Like, shall we put more energy to the talent development of the other ways of building AI, not only following generative AI. So I think that could be interesting tryings. Let me also talk about the role of universities for talent training. So recently, some of the philosophers were hired by Google and also Anthropic and OpenAI. So who is producing philosophers? It's not in industry. It is in the universities. But when they ask philosophers, and then here are the philosophers. So what I'm saying is that the role of the university and its so-called production is to have long-term preparation of the talents in all fields, so that when the industry, when the future is, require this kind of talents, you can find it in the university. The role of professors in the university is also changing, but what has not been changed is that long-term deep thoughts, getting prepared for decades, not for next year.
Dame Wendy, China now produces vast numbers of science and engineering graduates every year. Do you think that suggests that talent can be built deliberately, or is innovation just something you can't plan for?
The vast majority of the world is not technical, right? And there's an awful lot of the world that will find it very hard to learn the maths and the skills that are required to become an engineer or a computer scientist. And maybe China has a way of doing that. I don't see that happening in the West very quickly. And I also will say what Yi said again, that we need different disciplinary thinking in this game. Yeah. We need the philosophers, we need the historians, we need the psychologists, we need people that that don't understand what a matrix or any sort of vector is. They won't need to understand that level of mathematics to be able to work in an AI era. And that's the most. I don't believe we've got to turn everybody. And I think you just frighten people if you say you've all got to be able to do your maths so you can become a scientist and engineer. And the other thing, we started off talking about people. Well, there's a lot of stuff to do with people that AI can't do, and not even AI and robots can do. Caring for people, nurturing people, keeping them well, helping them get better when they're ill. Things about mental health. I mean, we are nowhere near having AI systems that can do that. So there's so many things to do with people, and that's why we talk about human-centered AI, or we talk about AI. I mean, our UN report that Yi and I were both involved in writing was about AI being good for humanity, not just good for industry or good for people who can be scientists and engineers. AI's got to be good for everybody.
So we've established that AI isn't going to take all jobs, replace all jobs, but the economy that we're all working in is going to alter. And as you mentioned, Denis, the architecture of some jobs are going to have to alter. I mean, Europe, though, does face skills shortages, and at the same time, demographic pressures. The workforce is ageing. Do you think that Europe needs to fundamentally rethink how it builds and it attracts the workforce it needs? You
can see what's going on in China. China is pushing very hard for the internationalization of its talent pool. They created 3 global talent hubs in Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen. And the whole goal there is to attract international talent to come and be part of the landscape in the Chinese high-tech domain. I don't think this is about AI taking over. I think that's not what, at least my intention is in terms of discussing this. It's to see how society becomes prepared in order to deal with a very different kind of world that we're likely to find ourselves in. And whether universities survive or not, for the first time, I think in a long time, we see lots of universities under threat because people are asking the question, if the universities can't produce qualified graduates who are going to meet the needs of society, a lot of kids are deciding not even to go to university these days. Enrollments are down in the United States, and it's not just a demographic function, it's a function of the fact that they see the opportunities out there, and university education doesn't seem to be the facilitative mechanism to enable them to get there. We have some big challenges ahead, and I think we're not very well synchronized.
Zeng Yi, Denis Simon, and Dame Wendy Hall, thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you.
You can watch every episode of The Agenda in full on CGTN Europe's YouTube channel. And for exclusive extra content from me, my guests and the rest of the team, don't forget to check out @The Agenda Show on TikTok.
Coming up on a future agenda, who should be the next UN Secretary General? We hear from some of the candidates seeking the world's top diplomatic job. But for now, from me, Juliet Mann, and from all the Agenda team here in London, goodbye.